Hey everyone, I'm Pang and I'm here with YTL Communications CEO Wing, and we are here at the Network Operations Center in Sentul West. So I'm here to just talk about a few questions, and we just have a quick talk about the telco and the YES network as a whole.
Yep.
So let's start with the obvious. I think right now, competition among the mobile networks is at its fiercest that we've ever seen in years. There are 4 major players right now, and other ones coming along the way. Why now? Why do you decide to resurrect the entire business? I mean, you guys have been very quiet for the past few years, so yeah, maybe you have to.
So good afternoon, Pang, and good afternoon, everyone. I think one of the things that we are quite proud of what we've done as our group's ethos is that we tend to do before we talk. We hear a lot of talking everywhere, but we don't see as much doing. We like to show Malaysia as a country that we can have world-class broadband and world-class mobile internet from one company. And we do have that background and legacy. We, after all, were the first to build a nationwide 4G network. That was 5.5 years ago. That was based on 4G broadband. And I think the time is ripe where people are moving towards a mobile lifestyle. And honestly speaking, when we first started designing our network, we knew full well that LTE is an important technology that we should support. So it's just that back then, 7 years ago, LTE wasn't commercially mature. So we decided to build a network based on all IP technology and built the first 4G broadband network using WiMAX at a national scale. But that is important because it gives us 2 things. Number one, it gave us a all IP network platform for which we can continue to upgrade to embrace new technologies. Now we're talking about LTE. In a few years' time, we'll be talking about 5G. 5G is also based upon all IP technology. We are the only all IP technology company in this country, and therefore we have a future-proof platform. But the second thing that we are really proud of is that, as you know, right now we've reached 85% population coverage in merely 5.5 years' time. That is the fastest single network growth in this country. And we are proud that we've done that because YTL, we are builders in our genes, in our DNAs. Obviously, for us to support mobility, we have to have a pretty robust countrywide footprint. It took us a few years to get to that point. So granted, we are looking at the technology evolution of going to mobility. We also look at the fact that having a network footprint to support mobility is important. We now see these 2 tipping points, at least in our network footprint. Therefore, it makes sense for us to then take the next leap forward to help the country close the mobile internet divide. We've closed the broadband divide a few years back. Now it's time to close the mobile internet divide. Again, an open concept, lots of air coming in and lots of natural sunlight coming in. And you notice that this whole place, you only see a few pillars. The reason that you only see a few pillars is that we want to make sure that people can see each other. I think eye contact is very important towards collaboration. So imagine you're working on a project. You want to find a guy. You're all here. All you need to do is to stand up, look around, you find a guy, you walk over and solve the problem. Right. The whole concept of this place is to allow for collaboration to happen.
So let's talk about the plans itself. Like you mentioned that your mobile network is a double network. So you're splitting the data quota into 4G LTE and 4G broadband. So what's the reasoning behind it?
Because the devices are different. So when you're on a 4G LTE plan, that 4G LTE data quota is for smartphones for the most part. When you're on the 4G broadband network, you use your home gateways or the mobile routers or even dongles to use that data quota. So it's easy for you to manage as a customer. You don't have to figure out, if I give you a big bucket and you say you can use it for all your devices, you get confused. So which one is consuming more data? Which one is consuming what? But if I give you 2 buckets for different devices, then in our mind it's very easy to categorize, very easy to organize. And in our price plan, we built it in such a way that we have 2 kinds of price plan. One is heavy on broadband and lighter on LTE, and the other is heavy on LTE and lighter on broadband. So basically, we have plans that caters every single price point and caters to customers of different behavior, different preferences, and different usage model.
So this broadband quota, do you actually have to use the Yes Huddle, or you can use any kind of MiFi device, you can just slot the SIM card inside?
The broadband quota is on the WiMAX network, or the 4G broadband network, which is running on the WiMAX technology. So we have existing amazing products that we've been providing to Malaysians for the last several years, which is a Zoom gateway, which is a home gateway. We have the Huddle, which is the best-selling mobile router in Malaysia, and with the Go dongle. And these are great products that provide the so-called mobile broadband consumption model.
And this network is only going to be compatible with these devices for now?
Network.
Okay. So, you've been in the dark for quite some time. You've been laying quite low for about maybe a few years, if I'm not wrong. How are you going to attract your customers again? How are you going to engage with them once again?
I think the Yes brand has been well established in Malaysia as a fast network. I think when people talk about Yes, they right away think about us as a fast network. I think that's the most important brand recognition that we should have first, is that people recognize that Yes is fast and Yes is 4G. I think we can claim the fact that we are the pioneer of 4G, with a champion of 4G in Malaysia. And if we can help that in the customer's mind, that Yes equals to 4G, then I'm happy to say that now you can have your Yes experience even on smartphones. So as far as we are concerned, this is a continuation of our journey. We started out with broadband, now we're completing the journey to complete it by putting LTE or the mobile internet into the same product family under the Yes brand. I think that we have given customers an opportunity now to sample our speed on a broadband network, and they can sample even more amazing speed on the LTE side as well.
Right. So do you think that what you're doing right now is going to be enough? Like, people are currently going to be tied to multiple year contracts on different carriers, and how do you think that your network, the legacy that you have as a fast network, would it be enough to pull them back?
I think, granted, we have established ourselves as the 4G champion, and therefore Yes equals fast. And I think it's great to have that brand recognition so early on in our corporate life. After all, we've only been around for 5.5 years as a brand. But the next thing that we want to make sure Malaysians understand is this notion of double-double. Because we first started as a broadband player, now on the same price plan, you can have access to both networks. One for broadband, the other for LTE. That's a very new experience for Malaysians. Behind the word double-double is enormous savings. Because basically, all our customers have access to both networks at the same time. They don't have to buy multiple plans just to cater to different needs. I think all of your Lowyat fans are technology fans, and you guys understand the fact that in our life, we are not just using mobile phones to connect to the internet. Many of our fans here, they use PS4 or Xbox, you have your Nintendo, you got so many gadgets, even your IP cameras, music players. You guys have all kinds of IP gadgets at home that you want to connect to the internet. So we feel that if we just focus on smartphone, which is, by the way, very important, and we are closing that gap with our LTE network, we should not ignore the fact that there are so many IP gadgets in our life that we also want to connect to the internet. So if we can provide a single solution that allows for all gadgets, whether it is phones or IP gadgets that you have at home or in the car or in the office, to connect it to the internet using one single price plan, I think Malaysians will find it very attractive and very innovative. What you can see, these two are actual railroad tracks coming in.
Yeah.
See, we basically put the office on top, but two tracks. And that's where the train would come in.
So now that we're on the subject of the consumer itself, what can we expect? Like, as a consumer, what can we expect from Yes as a network provider?
Well, you can expect us to continue to be very innovative. You can expect us to continue to provide high quality service at very competitive price. And last but not least, you can expect us to continue to try very hard to continue to meet your expectation and to exceed your expectation. We are not perfect, but every day we'll try to get closer to where we want to be.
So, like you mentioned, yes, it's a very young company. 5.5 years, 2009, right?
2009.
So it's about 7 years old.
I moved to Malaysia in 2009, but we launched in 2010.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it's still relatively a very young company.
Yeah.
So as a CEO, what do you see as indicators of success moving forward right now?
Our success must come from customer. I think we are very, very clear. If to the extent that our customers are happy, then we can then start smiling. Until the customers are happy, we cannot smile. So we must make sure that the priorities is on our customer. If the customer win, then we can win along the way. So our priority is making sure we continue to delight them in terms of innovation, in terms of performance, in terms of value.
Okay, so as a CEO, is that also your vision for this company?
Absolutely, because ultimately, a company exists to serve the customers. So we must make sure we're customer first. But at the same time, we have a very long-term view in terms of why we exist as a company. If you look at Malaysia today, Malaysia still doesn't have very robust mobile internet coverage. You and I are lucky because we live in Kuala Lumpur, and Kuala Lumpur has got a lot of 4G networks here. But if you leave Kuala Lumpur, leave the big city areas, you quickly run out of 4G on other networks. But not on Yes, because our determination from day one is to help the country close the digital divide. We don't want to allow for people in Malaysia where they have to come to big city to get good broadband. We feel that everyone in Malaysia is their human rights to have high quality access to the internet for them to do well. So I think our bearings are correct, whereby we first launched our network in 2010 with the eye towards helping the country close the broadband divide. We did that, and now we like to close the mobile internet divide so that Malaysian, no matter where they are, they can get a smartphone. This fantastic smartphone is only $399, inclusive of GST. And if you sign up our Hero plan, the phone is actually free. So I think this is the way for us to ensure that we close the digital divide and close the mobile broadband divide. Because number one, if we can offer good pricing, but the device price is too high, it's still not a complete solution in the eyes of the consumer. And there are many customers in the rural area, in the fishing village, in the East Coast, or even in Sabah, that they would love to have access to the internet, but they don't have the device, or they don't have the right network coverage. Now, we solved the first problem by having coverage. We solved the second problem by having very competitive price plan. Then we solved the last problem by having the device to close the entire equation. So now they have access to network, they have access to amazing price plan, and the device to enable them to enjoy the price plan without breaking their bank. I think that's important consideration. I think we've done that for the country. And obviously, our journey continues, but you understand our mindset. Our mindset is about creating a level playing field for all Malaysians. We believe the internet has a very powerful element towards lifting the country's economy and lifting the lives, improving the lives of Malaysians. And that's our true belief from day one. And I'm very, very honored and very, very pleased to say that our whole company, all the way from our board down to every single staff, share the same belief.
Nice. Sounds like a very exciting time moving forward.
Indeed.
Cool. I have just one last question for you. So what is Yes's next challenge?
So granted, having an LTE network gave us a tremendous foundation to close the mobile internet divide. And as I mentioned to you earlier, I hinted at you earlier, that this is not just the only way for people to interact with the internet. We believe that having an OIP network gives us a very unique advantage to provide high-speed broadband service, high-speed mobile internet service to multiple endpoints. Those endpoints cannot just be consumers or human beings. We see automobile is a very powerful endpoint. We see buildings, we see facilities as very powerful endpoints. So the common theme behind all this is what we call Internet of Things. Now, having a OIP network gives us the advantage to participate in Internet of Things ecosystem. When you're still on a circuit switch network, forget about Internet of Things. But on the fact that we have a pure 100% IP network, then we can look at all these amazing new opportunities beyond phones to create value for people.
Great. I think like I said, it's going to be an exciting time.
Excellent.
And especially in the mobile scene, I think it's going to be a very interesting time to see how your competitors are going to catch up, or maybe stay ahead. I don't know. But thanks for your time.
Thanks so much.
We're probably gonna keep in touch again,
Absolutely.
and we'll catch up next time.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Rick.
Thanks, man. Cheers. Thanks, guys.